Here I have a very bizarre story for you. This story I heard years ago. I told the story before, but I'll tell it again. um, a Jewish family were preparing for Shabbat. They got a phone call from the home of the aged, where their grandmother was staying. They had a grandmother. She was like 90 years old. She was a Holocaust survivor. This story, of course, was like 50 years ago. She was a Holocaust survivor, and she was in a home for the aged, and they used to visit her regularly. They used to come and visit her regularly, like, once every day, whereas every 2 days, and they would spend, hours with her. She was a very intelligent, woman, but she needed this assistance and help and stuff like that. She couldn't get it. So she was in this home for the aged. Anyway, the family got a message early one Friday morning, that their mother passed away. And they went to the funeral home. They went to the place where the old, the place for where the old folks home, what they call home for the aged. And of course, they were very, they were very broken and they felt very bad. They loved their grandmother very much. And, they went to the room, they pulled over the sheet, they recognized their mother, and they hurriedly made a funeral Friday. They didn't want the body to be there the whole time. So they quickly made a funeral. They arranged it with the funeral house, and they paid extra money. And they made a funeral, and they put a gravestone, etc. And that's it. I don't know, maybe there wasn't a gravestone, actually. Afterwards, maybe there wasn't. No. They made a funeral, and it was they buried the grandma. They came home just moments before Shabbat, and they kept Shabbat. After Shabbat, so they sat Shiva. They sat Shiva the 7 days of mourning for their grandmother. They sat, people came. On Tuesday, they got a phone call. The father answered the phone, said, "Who is it?" Said, "Oh, you don't recognize me anymore, huh? Where are you? Why don't you come to visit me?" I said, "Who is this?" He said, "What do you mean, who is it? It's your mother. Don't you?" What? It's my mother. 1 second. His wife says, "What's going on?" He said, "I don't know what's going on, but this is my mother calling." So where's she calling from? She's calling from heaven. Where's she calling from? Says, "Ma, are you all right?" She says, "Yes, I'm all right. Why don't you come and visit me? I'm lonely over here." Says, "Oh, we'll be right there." They immediately left the Shiva. They're sitting the 7 days of mourning. They run down to the home of the aged, and there's their mother sitting there. Says, "What's wrong with you people? Why don't you come and visit? At least call me up. Something. What's it?" Says, "Mom, it's you. I don't believe it." So they go over and says, "What's the problem?" So they said, "Well, we're so happy to see you." And they're kissing her and they're happy and they're crying. And so all of a sudden, one of them says, "1 second." She said, "What are you so happy about? What's you crying?" He said, "Because they called us up Friday morning and they told us that you had passed away. And we identified the body. We thought it was you. So they went to the director of the home of the aged. He said, "What's going on over here?" So what's the problem? So when we buried our mother on Friday. He said, "Yes, I know. My condolences. I intended to go and visit you." He said, "But it wasn't our mother. Our mother's still alive." "What?" So what? What are you talking about? So he checked over and he realized that, there was another woman with the same last name, also a Holocaust survivor. And she passed away. She was the one that passed away. And by mistake, he called up this family and they came, and old people, especially a person passes away, so their face changes or whatever it is. So they looked briefly at the face. They thought it was their mother. And they looked similar. They're both, skinny ladies, whatever. They said, whoa, 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 whoa. We buried the wrong woman. We buried the wrong woman. We're very happy, our grandmothers, but we did bury somebody. So, who is it? So they said, this is this lady, and she has an only son. Call her up. Call up the son. He said, "I'll call him up. I'll take care of it." The funeral director. He calls up the son, says, "Hello, is this Mr. Parks or whatever? About your mother?" He said, "What, you want to tell me my mother passed away? My mother died." So I knew that she would die sooner or later. Just burn the body and send me the bill. He said, no, maybe I can come and visit you. So you want to come and visit. So he came and visited the funeral, the home for the aged. The director goes, he brings the family of the living mother together. So what's this? What's going on? He said, listen, we made a big mistake. I thought that these people that are with it, these nice people, we thought that their mother passed away, and really was your mother. And so the man chimes in and he says, but you don't have to worry. Your mother got a very honorable burial. We gave her a very honorable burial. And there was he said, the boy says, what? What did you say? He said, we buried your mother with great honors, and you don't have to worry. We'll pay for the gravestone and everything. We paid for this. He says, well, you buried my mother? Yeah, I mean, she was dead. I mean, she passed away. We didn't bury her alive. You buried my mother. I don't believe it. My mother, you buried her. And he starts crying and weeping and going. And he's going like berserk. My mother is buried. I don't believe it. So they think something is weird going on over here. And when they told him that his mother was dead, he just said, burn the body. He wasn't crying at all. Had no prayer. And now he said that they buried her. All of a sudden he's breaking out. So they asked him, can you tell me what, as soon as he calmed down, what's going on? What happened? Well, I don't understand. Why are you crying now? We told you before your mother was dead. You just said, burn the body and send me the bill. And now all of a sudden, he said, I want to tell you what's. So give me a glass of water. I want to tell you what happened. I said, my mother and me were Holocaust survivors. We survived the Holocaust. And in some sort of a miraculous way, we made it here to America. At the time when we came from Poland, wherever it's Germany, I made it over. I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, something like that. And my mother brought me up religious. My father got killed. He was killed in the Holocaust. And my mother brought me up, and I had a bar mitzvah and everything, and sent me to religious. But then I started, I didn't really enjoy it so much in the religious schools, in the Jewish school. And I got mixed up with some, non-Jewish friends, and I really enjoyed being with them. And my mother saw what was happening, and she pleaded with me, please put on tefillin every day, please. And so for a while, I humored her. And then afterwards, I just would tell her that I put on tefillin, I keep Shabbat. And really, I wasn't keeping anything Jewish whatsoever. And finally, my mother said to me, please, after all we've done in the Holocaust, because we're Jews, please keep Judaism. So I said, listen, Mom. I said to my mother, listen, the whole thing is a big lie. It's a big fake. It's the only thing the Jews get is killed and murdered. We're going after a false God. There's no such thing as God. It doesn't exist. There's just a world. And she said, no, please don't say things like that. And I even said to my mother, I got mad at her one day, and she kept badgering me. I said, Mom, I want you to know something, that I don't believe in God, and I think you're making a big mistake. And when you die, I'm going to have your body cremated. According to Judaism, you don't cremate bodies. So then it's forbidden to cremate the body, according to Judaism. There has to be a body that you go to visit, and there's going to be the raising of the dead. The bodies will raise. Anyway, I said, when you die, I'm going to have you cremated. She said, please don't talk like that. Don't say that. I said, you're wrong. Your religion is wrong, and your faith is wrong, and your beliefs are wrong. And the whole thing is just a big fake. It's just a big mirage, and it doesn't exist. And then I'm telling you, when you die, I'm going to have you cremated. Well, what? And now what are you coming and telling me that my mother got a burial, and she got a Jewish burial, and they said Kaddish over my mother, right? If so, it comes out that maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a big miracle. How did my mother get a regular? I thought she was in my control. All of a sudden, see that there's something bigger controlling. And he sat down, and this young man, eventually he became a religious person. So what's the point of the story? That God controls the world, and God is the one that helps us. And it's true, there's a lot of questions, and there was the Holocaust, we cannot deny it, and there were millions and millions of Jews that did not get a proper Jewish burial, and nobody even knows where they're buried, or if they're buried, or what they're. True, there's a lot of questions, Judaism, and these questions have been from the time of Abraham until this very day. But somehow or other, Mashiach will come and answer all of these questions. And if you have questions about that, the Mashiach is going to come. As don't worry about it, because I have questions also. Everybody has questions, just like this person has questions, and Mashiach will come and answer all these questions. Have a good day with Mashiach now.